Hey everybody, it is Natalie from Power Moon Tarot. Welcome to your reading. Happy April, everybody. Happy Sunday. And we're going to go ahead and get into it. Today's reading is called Shadow Healing, What Your Spirit Guides Want You to Know. And we're going to go ahead and find out what issues are happening right now, are happening with your shadow and your guides and what they feel about it, okay? And stick around to the end of every pile because we're going to go ahead and get initials at the end of the pile, which may highlight the name or initials of a person that Spirit is wanting to address as far as shadow healing goes, a particular person or situation. Also, you can check to see if your initials are in there as well. And I just wanted to say, for those of you that are interested, my astrology readings are open for the month of April. If you'd like to book a reading with me, you can check the link below, check out my website, and if you'd like to book a tarot reading, all the information you need to book one is in the description box below. And I just yesterday went live and analyzed Britney Spears' chart, and if you're interested in checking that out, you can go to my live tab and check out. I made a separate playlist for analyzing the charts of celebrities. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get into it today, and if you have a particular suggestion of someone's chart that you would like me to analyze, you can always shoot me an email or just ask me in the comments, because I do read all the comments. And thank you everybody for supporting my channel and for hanging out with me. So let's go ahead and get into the readings. We have pile number 1, which is represented by the red tea light. We have pile number 2, which is the yellow tea light. And we have pile number 3, which is the black tea light. So take a big deep breath. It's one of those days, right, where we need to take a big deep breath and focus in on the different piles. And you may choose to watch more than one pile today if you're feeling the vibe, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and get into pile number 1. Get everything going here. Alrighty. Let's do it. Pile number 1, welcome to your reading. You chose the red tea light, and today's reading is called Shadow Healing, What Your Guides Want You to Know. I'm going to go ahead and get into your reading today, pile number 1. Thank you for being here. Check my description box below. If you'd like to get a natal chart reading from me or a tarot reading from me, you can find out how to do that below. And without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and we'll look at your oracle cards first, and then we'll jump into the tarot. Okay, just kind of warming up the cards here. Got to get them all nice and juicy and ready to flow. Okay, let's do it. Oh, death on the bottom of the deck. Okay, hello. Yellow. All right, let's begin pile number 1 and take a look at your cards here. We have obscurity. We could talk of, with death on the bottom of the deck, fading into obscurity, or things in your life no longer becoming relevant. And it says here, often when we overcomplicate situations, when the best option is in plain sight, but sometimes overlooked as being too easy. So often we overcomplicate situations when the best option is in plain sight, but it's just overlooked as being too easy. Sometimes, however, it is really as simple as that. Okay, and some people, I know I'm guilty of this too, where I'm asked a question and I turn it into something far more than it needs to be. Sometimes we can get too into the details to the point where we miss the main point of the question. And yeah, anyway, we have obscurity here, so things overly complicating. And there may be situations in your life where you're trying to control. Pile number 1 with the death card here, where you're trying to grip that steering wheel so tightly, and you're trying to control the inputs and the outputs in a particular situation. And, with the death card, we can definitely be overdoing something too, to the nth degree, and it really doesn't need to go there, okay? And we have here defeated. Pile number 1. Okay, your guides want you to know that down does not mean out with the Death card, okay? It just means taking a breather and rallying the energy to give it another go. Just do it differently next time because the other way didn't work, okay? And again, like sometimes we just have to go, you know what, that didn't work. I didn't like the results that I had there. I didn't like how I felt when I was taking that approach. I didn't like, you know, what the direction that was going in. Sometimes we can inadvertently chain ourselves to things that we really don't want to be doing, but then we just keep pressing in the wrong direction. Do you know what I'm saying, pile number 1? Sometimes we do that in life. And Spirit just wanting you to know, for those of you that have been going through an ending, whether it's the end of a relationship, the end of a job, whether it's a goal you've been working on that's just kind of petered out. And, you know, I can kind of relate to your reading, pile number 1, because when I started this channel, it really took off. And, you know, like for the last year, I've been kind of going through a phase where it's been really a lot stagnant. And, you know, that's fine. Sometimes that happens in life. Like we burst out of the gate, you know, and death really has that energy of action. And death has to do with Scorpio, right? And it has to do with, and its ancient ruler is Mars, which is also having to do with the color red, which has to do action, action, we want action. And sometimes we push too hard on something and we blow it out of proportion and we make it bigger than it actually is. And we take like a momentary setback as basically like, this is it, this is the end. Like, you know, it's not gonna get better. It won't get better than this. And, you know, like, this just means I'm a total failure and everything I've been trying to do is a failure. And, you know, we can really get into those and then we can start taking actions that overcomplicate the situation when really we probably just need to take a step back, take a breather, rally the energy and give it another go. Okay, so your guide's really wanting to talk to you about, you know, maybe feeling like you lost at something, maybe feeling disappointed, maybe feeling like, you know, something's like dead in the water and, you know, and I think you do need to figure out a different way to do something, pile number 1, but also at the same time, you may really be overcomplicating it in your mind. So let's see what we have here. We have healer. Okay, very nice, pile number 1. And we have the root chakra. Wow, with the red tea light, you don't say. And maybe it is time for you guys to take some time to really ground yourselves and to really also too when things end, we can feel like a failure, we can feel like we're not going to survive. Our security can really be shaken, like what we've come to believe or what we've come to know can really become inflamed, like where we don't feel like we're connected anymore to, we don't have a deep connection to the purpose of why we were doing something, or we're not grounded in what we're doing. And I think, you know, starting things off from a very grounded perspective and getting out of a defeatist mindset and getting out of a, I'm going to lose everything, I'll lose all my security, right? That kind of mindset will be helpful, okay? And we have here Aries and act. Wow. Okay, interesting. So just because you're down doesn't mean you're out. Pile number 1. We may have some Aries here, and look, it says number 1, Aries. Of course, Aries, we are in Aries season right now. And, you know, it's time for you, like Aries is a very me sign. And I think it's time for you to really act from a place of empowerment, a place of security. And once you figure out like what's gonna make you feel better and what feels right to you, then you're in a position to act. And I feel like some of you here, you, like I said, Aries is kind of a no bullshit sign. Like, it just goes for the jugular. It's not going to overcomplicate anything, and it's going to look for the fastest way to get something done. And it's going to strike right at the heart of the matter instead of kind of, and also Aries is a champion, and Aries doesn't give up, and Aries is a competitor, and Aries has a high level of confidence, and Aries knows that, hey, if something didn't work out, or if something failed, or something wasn't the way I wanted it to be, you know, I mean, I'm a fighter. I may be out, but I'm not down, okay? And I think that that is like building up your sense of security, and building up your sense of daily practices and spiritual practices and daily security and your routines and just your basic things. As we relate to the root chakra, we relate to that as the earth, you know, acting from a place of very grounded energy. And root chakra doesn't really overcomplicate things either. You know, it's like, it's the closest connection to the earth. So we're not up in our heads. We're not thinking of 1,000 different things. We're not blowing our minds and our crown chakras out and our third eyes out by overanalyzing, overthinking. We're not like speaking about 100 different things to death. We're not, we just kind of strike at the heart of the matter with the root chakra, and just take some dedicated action towards what it is that we want to do, okay? And pile number 1, you may be healers as well too. And some of you may be working on healing your root chakra and working on rising up in situations where you feel defeated, or you feel like you've been beaten, or you feel like somebody got the best of you, okay? Pile number 1. So Spirit just really wanting to address that feeling of, you know, like, because something didn't work, now nothing will work, you know? And sometimes all we need is a little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of belief in ourselves, and a willingness to start over. And we're in Aries season right now anyway, and I love the brilliant red of the root chakra, the fact that you guys have the red tea light, and you know, focusing on some healing around your root chakra, possibly listening to some mantras, or, you know, meditating on that. But take a breather, it says. It just means taking a breather and rallying the energy, okay? So taking a breather and rallying the energy. And sometimes when we feel really defeated, we don't feel like doing shit, you know? We just are like, I'm just gonna fade into oblivion. You know, we don't feel like doing anything sometimes, because, you know, failure and defeat and things not becoming what you want them to be is a very disappointing experience, but it's also a very human experience. And sometimes we need to wait a little bit more, because there's things that we have to heal, or there's things that we have to do, and we need to start from a different base. You know what I mean? Pile number 1, it's like, I feel like you guys have to clear out some energy and kind of start off with a different premise, okay? And then act from there. Start over. And I know starting over can be very much overcomplicating things. I know starting over can feel very intimidated when we've really put a lot into something, but I think it's going to make you feel better. The irony is that when you are taking action and you're doing it from a place of grounded awareness with the intent to, you know, be of service, or to heal, or to take care of yourself in the world, pile number 1, you truly do find success. And let's go ahead here and see, what do pile number 1's guides have to say regarding pile number 1 and their shadow healing. What do pile number 1, okay, we have the 4 of Wands, which is another Aries card. Okay, so they want you to realize, oh, there we go. You know, they want you to realize with the 3 of Swords here, they know it's been hard. They're not, you know, I mean, there's something very mechanical about the 3 of Swords too. you know, and there's something very checked out and mechanical about it. And there's nothing really warm about the Three of Swords. There's nothing like warm and fuzzy about it. And it's kind of just going through the motions and living with the pain, you know? And I get it. When you've been down and out, like, it happens, right? And particularly for those of you that have, you know, gone through breakups and heartbreaks and, you know, separations, and you've just like wondered, like, when will it ever be good again? And I feel like if we start things with a very defeated mindset, then we may miss out on like the present opportunities that we have. Okay, and I do see togetherness. I do see being around people is healing for you guys right now. And I'm just going to take a drink of water. I mean, I feel like with the Four of Wands and the Three of Swords, a good time was ruined. You know, something that was going, or something that had the expectation of going really well was ruined, okay? And the good time was ruined or spoiled. And, you know, sometimes we just have to pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off and keep on pushing, you know, pile number one. But let's see what else here too. Sometimes we get used to feeling like shit too. You know, it's like, well, I guess I'll just accept it. Let's see here. What do pile? Okay. Two of Cups. Let's see. They want you to understand that not everybody or everything is like the person that you were just dealing with, pile number one, okay? There's really good things for you there. And they know it's been a test of your patience, and they know it's been hard. And they know that with the Five of Wands on the bottom of the deck, that possibly you've been angry as well too, about a situation. And I feel like what they're saying is right now, they want you to focus on, healing when it comes to romantic and emotional connections or friendships with people. Okay, it doesn't have to be romance, it can be friendship, but they want you to take it easy on yourself, and they want you to try new things, and they want you not to get beaten down by things that have happened, okay? And instead take it as a learning experience. And with Temperance, you know, Temperance has to do with the Sagittarius archetype, and has to do with teaching and growth and spiritual lessons. And, you know, they're not always easy. These lessons are not easy. And give yourself some credit is what I feel like they're saying, and keep working at it, and keep working on your own healing, regardless of whether you're in a relationship or not, or regardless of whether there's someone else there to kind of reflect back to you. And for some of you right now, you may need, I'm just getting for some of you right now, pile number one, you may need to be alone for a little bit, okay? And you may need to take some of the lessons that have come from the past and integrate those lessons, and integrate them into your energetic and emotional being, okay? And the Temperance angel here, I feel like your guides are, I mean, whenever the Temperance comes up anyway, I always take it as a sign that people's guides are near. So they are very near to you, and they're here encouraging you and encouraging your growth. And they're like, this isn't it, baby. You know, like, there is still so much more left for you to experience and to do. And as long as you're alive and breathing on this earth, you're capable of growth. And, you know, I feel like they want you to know that you've been tested, and that you're doing great. They know you've been tested, and they're not going to give you anything that you can't handle, I feel like. and they know that you're growing through these experiences. And I feel like they're saying you will be at peace with the Two of Cups, okay? And there may have been a situation around relationships, friendship, love, where it was overly complicated, it was messy, and it was anything but easy with the Three of Swords here, okay? And sometimes we overlook the best option in plain sight. Now, what I'm going to say to you guys too is there may be somebody that you've overlooked that's around you that would actually be a good partner for you. And I kind of feel like your guides are bringing this person's energy closer to you and trying to help you see that, because I feel like a lot of times you guys may get into relationship situations where you're experiencing the same heartbreak and pain over and over and over again. And that's pretty representative of the Three of Swords, where we're just kind of going over and over and over again in a pattern. And I feel like there may actually be somebody in your environment or someone around you that you may have overlooked as a potential soulmate or friend or partner. And when I say the Two of Cups, I really mean soulmate. And, you know, friends can be soulmates too. But I just feel like they're saying what you've been experiencing you've learned a lot of important lessons from it, but at the same time, it's overcomplicating things, you know? And one thing you can do in a situation is just ask, you know? And sometimes we don't want to ask the other person because we don't want to hear their answer, or we're afraid of what it's going to be. And so we create all these things in our head about, you know, what they think and what you think and what they think. And there's all this stuff going on, and it's way too much, you know, and it's just causing more pain. And I feel like your guides are saying, look, we're helping you heal with this temperance and healing. We're helping you heal so that you in the future will not overlook things that could actually be good for you. Because I feel like some of you may have overlooked something that was good for you, you know? And interesting. And just do it differently next time, right? When it says do it differently next time, you know, test things out. See how you relate to someone first, you know, get to know someone on a deeper level. Talk about do you have the same goals and philosophies and dreams? I was even going to say mission, you know, and can you share in that with each other? If not, you know, if there's no like purity in the connection and it's all just a mental head fuck, I feel like your guides are saying you're making it harder than it needs to be. Okay, pile number one. And that may be a big shadow healing, because the Four of Wands is actually very simplistic. It's just representative of energy aligning and having a good time and not overthinking things. And it's a fire card, but it's a very balanced fire card. It's like letting those fires burn in a way that is, you know, it's a 4. So it's resonating with the energy of Jupiter in the Tree of Life of Hesed. And, you know, there is a lightness about that. There is an ease and a lightness and a flow to events and to the way things play out. And with the Two of Cups, it's just like two souls kind of relating to each other and looking, you know, two souls relating to each other in a way that is just very easy and straightforward. There aren't all these, like, you know, restrictions and issues around it, okay? So less baggage, more fun is what I feel your guides are saying. Let's go ahead and get some initials here. Simplify, pile number 1. We have a G, okay? We have an N. Good night. All right. Good night. It's time to put your pretty little head to bed, pile number 1, and to You know, work on something the next day. If it's getting too overcomplicated and it's getting to be too much, then fine. You know, it can wait till tomorrow. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, we have finish, fini, and good night. Okay. And yep. So we have a Y here too. We have a Y. Y. Okay. If we had a T, we'd have the word nifty. Something's nifty. But anyway, good night and finished. Finished with something. Okay, and they say like you're finished with this, and that's okay to like let it go and say good night. We have here a D. Good day and good night. Okay, I mean, there's simplicity in communication where it doesn't feel very deep and it's very robotic and cold, like the Three of Swords, or there's like genuine relating and genuine connection and like shared bliss. Do you know what I'm saying? Pile number 1. We have a D, Gen Y, Generation Y. Garden, I feel like garden is here. And we have a V, Dev or Devin or Deva, Devi, DVI, Devi, Nevi, Nev. Okay, let's see what else we have here. M, Eve, EVE, okay? I'm Eve. I'm Dev. I'm Devin, Devi. Let's see what else we have here. Gem, Jem. We have an N. Oh, no, we have Gemini, JEMINI. Why can't I spell Gemini right now? Anyway, I'm like, why can't I spell it right now? That's so weird. We also have 5. We have the number 5. We have 5 in Gemini here. So this may be important for you. Pile number 1, somebody here may be a Gemini or may have Aries in their chart, since Aries was coming through pretty strongly there. We have the word men, and then we have mend. Okay, so talk about healing. Healing. Let's see. Yemen is also here too. Femme is here. Okay, F-E-M. Femi, like someone's feminine. All right, we have an R. Meg or Megan is also here too. We also have the color red spelled out. Okay, so red is definitely something here to think about. We have a garden. All the letters for garden are here. All right. And fed. I'm going to quit here with the letters. I think this is about it. Fella. That's something. Anyway, we have day, good night. Dale is here. Dale. Glenda is also here. Maybe somebody knows someone with that name. W is here. We have an X. Okay, somebody's X definitely coming through. Probably someone you were with in the last year. Here's year here. We have Lenny, Leni. There's a lot of names here. So this is the last letter in U. You are something. You are fine. You are fine. You are F-I-N-E. Also fine, F-Y-N-E. You're fine, as in pile number 1 is cute, sexy. You're fine, but you're also fine too. You're fine. I am fine. Okay. And I think that's something that your guides want you to know, is that just because, you know, some shit happened, just because some things went down. We also have fever here, F-E-V-E-R. You give me fever, F-E-V-A, fever. Anyway, Yeah, so you'll give someone else fever. You know what I'm saying, pile number one? You will definitely be giving other people fevers in a good way in the future. And, I'm also seeing Denver here, Denver as a city. And maybe some of you are thinking of moving there, or you know someone that lives there. And let's see what else Spirit would like to show me. Anything else? I'm getting a name like Raul or Raphael, Raul or something like that, okay? And rule is also here too. I rule, you rule, okay? Pile number one, your guides are like, hey, you're doing good, you're doing fine, you are fine, I am fine. Even though something sucked or something wasn't really what you wanted it to be, your guides are just pointing out to you here that you're fine, okay? And everything's going to be okay, and you're going to heal up real nice, and you're going to have plenty of chances to practice, being there with someone and getting to know people and all that kind of good stuff. We have Ella. And anyway, we've got a lot of letters here, pile number one. So I am going to go ahead and leave it there. Okay. And just because you're out doesn't mean that you're down forever. And that's really the shadow healing message that your guides want you to know. And I know the Three of Swords can make us feel like pretty empty, alone, sad, isolated, robotic, mechanical, nothing's gonna work type of thing. But give things a chance to grow in your life and become. Temperance talks about growth, but it's growth that comes with significant, testing and sometimes hardship. I'm just going to say pile number one, but that's okay, right? That's all right. You're tough and you're strong and you're not down and out forever. Okay, pile number one. So that is what I am getting for you, my loves. Thank you so much for joining your reading today. And I'd love to hear any thoughts, comment, or feedback that you have on that reading. Let's go ahead and move on to pile number two. All right. Pile number two, welcome to your reading. You chose the yellow tea light, and today's reading is called Shadow Healing, What Spirit Wants You to Know. And ooh, I love this deck, but it has a mind of its own. It's a circle deck, so it kind of goes where it wants to go. Are you like that too, pile number two? You guys coming in with the yellow tea light, like the beautiful sun radiating. Let's go ahead and see for my pile number twos. All right, I just heard in left field or over in left field. I also got a vision of someone's brother who played football, or a bunch of girls liked him, or he was sexy, or he played football. I'm also getting the name Andy, okay? I'm getting the initials A and R, and I'm getting about something being out in left field. So maybe you said that the other day, like, yeah, that was out in left field, or that was weird, or that was something different. Oops, the Six of Wands just popped out at me. Yeah, like somebody who is like a winner in life, okay? Two of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. Let's go ahead and see. Regarding your shadow healing, pile number two, we have perplexed. Still unsure of what happened? Shake your head, roll your eyes, and respect that others choose to travel different journeys than you. Shake your head and roll your eyes, pile number two. Remember that each journey is important, okay? And you may be like, what the heck happened? What the heck? What in the actual hell happened in a particular situation? And sometimes we're like really perplexed or questioning why someone made the choice they did, or we're not getting how people are acting. And sometimes we can complain about that in life. Like, I don't get why this person is doing this, or I don't understand why they just didn't do this instead, right? And And even if it's annoying, like Spirit just saying here, we have to respect other people's decisions and their journeys in life. And we have here paralyzed. Wow, perplexed and paralyzed. Not being able to move forward can overwhelm and create a sense of fear, but standing still can be just as frightening. At least moving forward can create change. All right. And, you know, these two kind of go hand in hand, pile number 2, because it's easy to kind of like sit on the sidelines and go, why is that person doing that? Or why would they make that choice? I would never make that choice. Like, that just seems really dumb, you know? But then we're like frozen on the sidelines, like, what should I do, you know? And sometimes we judge what other people are doing because we're afraid. It's easier, you know, to look at other people's lives, right? Because sometimes we have blind spots in life. And I feel like sometimes you guys may think, well, you know, I don't have a blind spot, okay? And that could be a shadow thing. And I feel like others of you are like, no, I do have a blind spot and I'm actually worried about it, okay? So like, I can clearly see what other people should be doing, but when it comes to me, like, I'm just like, I don't know, should I do something? Should I wait? Should I, you know? And this just talking about, first of all, like respecting others in the ways that they choose to live their life. And I mean, I think that has to do with acceptance, right? Because we can think about something over and over. Why'd they do this? Why is this? Why is that? At some point, you just have to go, okay, that's just the way that it was, and find acceptance with that. But when we do that, it shifts the focus to ourselves. We cut off all of that extra analysis about somebody else's life and choices and what they're doing. And then we're forced to look at our own life and our own choices. And that can be fear-inducing, you know? So we're going to talk about it, pile number 2. And we have here transmute, okay? Talking about the need to transmute energy, right? Like, if you're looking at other people and finding yourself annoyed, irritated by their decisions and what they're doing, and you wish that they would change, I feel like a shadow healing for you is basically taking some of that attention off of other people or what you would be normally maybe judging or saying or occupying your mental energy with. I feel like you're nice people, pile number 2, so it's not like you're just going to be rude to other people, but you may spend a lot of time analyzing the actions of other people instead of thinking about, like, how can I move myself forward with a sense of confidence as well. We have male relationships here. So, you know, this having to do, some of your shadow material having to do with male relationships. Now, that could be your father, that could be brothers. I did mention a brother earlier at the beginning of the reading. That could be romantic relationships, friendships, but something here about transmuting your relationships with men, okay? And for my masculines watching this too, perhaps this is about something within that you're wanting to change in the way that you interact, okay? I also feel something about the way you interact with people in your male relationships, all right? And sometimes people are just taking, it's like, I wish this other person would change, you know? I wish this other person would act differently. And it's funny because we have 44 and 24. So we see somebody with a 20-year difference or age gap. We could be talking about a father and a child, but I mean, we could also just be talking about the way you relate to males in general. Like, eye roll, what are they doing? Why are they doing that? What's this behavior about? I wish they wouldn't act that way, okay? And in the meantime, you may be wasting energy overdoing it there, and Spirit just wanting you to, you know, make some decisions for yourself, okay? Particularly about certain male relationships in your life. Like, maybe you are trying so hard to figure out what that person is up to and what they're thinking and what they're doing, and it's paralyzing you from moving forward, because this talks about not being able to move forward because we have an overwhelming sense of fear, or we just feel like we can't move forward for whatever reason, okay? And isn't that interesting? With the yellow tea light, we have Leo and shine like the sun, and I was talking about that in your intro. And of course, the sun is a masculine planet and Leo is a masculine sign. And that doesn't mean, of course, that women aren't Leos or have Leo in their chart. But Leo is also has to do like with the father and the ruler and the person, the king of the jungle, the patriarchy, if you will, even could be associated with that. And also Leo has to do with leadership as well, too. And it's like, you know, okay, I can't really figure out why people are acting the way that they are. I just need to be like focused on me, and I need to be taking leadership over my life, and I need to be showing some confidence in the choices that I'm making. And I think that is really going to help a lot. Pile number 2, okay? And so there is something here about, and possibly for you guys, you knew a lot of men growing up, brothers, cousins, father, whoever, who were very egotistical, who would roll their eyes at you, who would put you down or make you feel stupid or make you feel like you weren't making the right decision about something, or tried to, you know what I mean? And I think like that may have created a sense of feeling paralyzed about what you should do to move forward. And, you know, Leo, it's the energy on this card says shine. So it's like, you know, your ability, your free will to choose what you want to choose for you, and to like be the king of the jungle or the queen of the jungle in your own world, okay? And yeah, people are going to make weird decisions and they're going to do weird shit, but we can't really sit around waiting constantly for people to change, because they're on their own journey, you know? And with the snake here, like we can't really control other people. And some of you may have been around very controlling masculine energy, and you're learning to move forward without fear. Also, Leo is a very brave and courageous sign too. So it's like really for those of you that have Leo planets, like really drawing on that energy. And even if you don't have Leo planets, you have a sun in your chart, okay? And your sun is your perfect expression of you and your inner vitality and your inner light. And, you know, let no man or no woman stand in between you and your inner light. Pile number 2, okay? And, you know, there may be a thing too, for some of you here, you may err on the other side a little bit of being kind of bossy or wanting to get up in people's business with this Leo energy of like leading or bossing or whatever, you know, and like trying to tell other people, you need to do this, or you need to change, or you need to da-da-da-da-da. And at some point, you know, and with Leo too, we can talk about ego. We need to kind of realize, are we coming at it from a sense of ego, or do we, you know, like what's our reason for like focusing so intensely on that with other people? Do you know what I'm saying, pile number 2? So, you know, we can get overly indulgent in other people's journeys, and at some point we just have to let other people be an individual and let ourselves be an individual too, okay? Pile number 2. So you came to the right pile. Let's go ahead and see, what do your guides want to tell you about shadow healing for pile number 2? Shadow healing always has some level of discomfort with it, you know, and sometimes the very qualities that we hate in other people are sometimes within ourselves too, which is a big head fuck. But anyway, pile number 2, let's go ahead and see. I want to go ahead and look at what your guys are saying. So we have the 2 of Swords. So the 2 of Swords is definitely perplexed and paralyzed. And it's not a great card for mental clarity, making a choice, or getting off your butt and taking action. It's actually a very passive card, and the Hangman's under there too. So it's passive city, it's water city, it's mental overwhelmed city. And sometimes we think we're taking the higher road by like not saying anything or not doing anything, or like that we'll just wait and see what happens, right? But how long does that turn into? And I feel like sometimes, like maybe pile number 2, you pretend not to know. Do you know what I'm saying? Because we have perplexed here, but I also think you guys are very wise, and I think you know a little bit about human behavior. So are you really that shocked? Are you really that perplexed? Are you really that like questioning, I guess, is what I would have to say to pile number 2. Like, are you really scratching your head on these kinds of situations, or do you kind of already know what's up and you're just kind of waiting to see if something will shift, you know, because of ego, or maybe because you want it to go in your favor, or who knows why, you know, but, or you're just wanting to see what happens because you care and you don't want to let something go. And you also are a little bit afraid of taking action on certain things yourself as well, you know. And I think this is a question of like, where are you holding yourself back? Because if you grew up with people holding you back, later in life, we can make people the excuse as to why we're holding ourselves back. Do you know what I'm saying? And we can kind of dump that shadow material on other people and go, you're holding me back, and until I figure out what's going on and until this changes, I can't let go of it, and I can't really do anything, and I'm just stuck until I can figure this out. And it's like, no, not really, you know? And honestly, I think you guys know. Pile number 2, I think you know what's what. Honestly, I do. I don't actually think you're that perplexed. You know, I think maybe you just don't want to move on sometimes. And, you know, the fire sign Leo is a fixed sign, and it's very stubborn, you know? So recognizing that there possibly is something in you that's very stubborn, that doesn't really want to see something and is like, oh, I can't do anything until I see it. And it's like, no, you can see it. Okay. So very interesting energy. We have the Empress talking about honoring yourself. And we have the Death card here. Oh, our poor Empress. Oh, you know, and boy, oh boy, you know, when somebody makes you feel like so beautiful and wonderful, or when you feel like somebody's really like seeing you and honoring you, it can be hard to sort of let that go. So, you know, especially if you come from such a deficit of that environment. We have the Lovers. Wow, we have all 3 major arcana cards that came up. So your guides have a very oh no. I'm like, what are they? Okay. All right. Okay. They're giving some really tough love. Pile number 2. I don't know if you're going to like this. I don't know if you're going to be into this. Okay. And just plug your ears if you're not. But I'm like, really? You want me to say that? They're kind of like, get off your high horse and get it moving. And if you really want to experience a true sense of connection, you're gonna have to make yourself vulnerable again. And, you know, you may be perplexed as to, why doesn't this person want me? I'm like the perfect package. And true, pile number 2, or why doesn't this person recognize my value or my worth? Okay. And, you know, I think Spirit is just saying, you've got to give that up, because if you're like sitting around stroking your chin and wondering, you know, like, why does this person not see my value or see my worth? And why are they so intent on crushing my spirit, you know? And I get that. I really get it, pile number 2. And I definitely get how you may have felt like your personhood was under attack, or that the love you gave wasn't important and went nowhere, okay? But I think it's really easy to get backed into a corner waiting for someone to change and give us the love that we need, instead of just, grabbing the frickin' reins ourselves and, saying, hey, that didn't work. These boots were made for walking, and that's just what they're going to do. All right. Someday these boots are going to walk all over you. Nancy Sinatra, okay, on that one, bringing out the old school. But I just feel like, Spirit is saying, death is very much a shadow energy. And I think people that have shut you down, or people that haven't seen the value in you, and it's like, I don't really know why this person is making a decision to leave my life. I don't really know why they're such a fool or an idiot. I don't know why, like, I'm not good enough, or I don't know why, like, what we had wasn't enough. I gave this person everything, and I'm sitting here trying to figure it out, and I'm very paralyzed, and I feel like I can't really do anything until that person acknowledges what they did. And I just think that having that attitude, pile number 2, is really keeping you from opening up to new things. And I know death is very scary. And when the Empress is investing a lot, the Empress gives everything. The Empress has so much to give. The Empress is open to giving and receiving love. And the Empress is, waiting for that sense of, putting that lock in that key. And, I get it, I really do, pile number 2, but I also think that taking the next step, pile number 2, taking the next step and moving forward is scary. But I also think if you're gonna learn, we can hold something in an idealized state and never give it up and just hold it there forever. Or we can give that up and kind of go into a space of vulnerability where we're able to communicate and relate in a way that is very open. And I feel like Spirit is saying this ending was necessary. Like, whatever ending happened, or whatever pain you guys experienced in, hoping that people or certain people in your life would change and validate you. I just feel like Spirit's saying you don't really have time to wait for that. It's time to move on from that. And I know that it's scary, and it can feel like I'm doing it alone, and it can feel very unnerving, but I also feel like it's time to take full responsibility for the connections that you've been creating with people. And it's time, and I don't mean that the other people have no culpability. I just mean taking responsibility for your share of it, okay? And I get that it's a harsh world out there, but I also think you guys have the capacity to open up to people and communicate with people and get to know a lot of people and invite more relationships into your life, whether that's colleagues, acquaintances, friendships. The Lovers is about relating. And I love that you're coming through as the Empress, but I think there's a tendency for you to kind of hold yourself waiting in a state of expectation to kind of be received. And I feel like Spirit is just saying, you actually need to, you need to have good communication with the people that you're with. You need to have, it can't just be a fantasy that's played out. Do you know what I'm saying? Pile number 2, you're really gonna have to open yourself up to meeting new people and to putting yourself back out there into life. And I know, we have this paralyzed here, not being able to move forward, and standing still can be just as frightening, but I don't want to move forward either. But I think at the end of the tunnel here, what Spirit is saying with the Lovers is actually what's waiting for you is something very eye-opening and awe-inspiring, and, you know, and a place where you can actually communicate openly and have a flow with the people in your life, where you're not just waiting and wondering and all of that, okay? And I also feel like there's a need to get on the same page with people, right? With the Lovers is where we need to kind of have important conversations and get on the same page. And I think the quicker you do that, like, is this really something or not? Is this really, you know, is this really like what you want? Is this really what I want? Like, getting to that answer about what it is that you need and want is, you know, like, is gonna help you at the end of the day, pile number 2, okay? And let's go ahead and see, like, there's been some epic shifts in your relationships and the way that you see yourself. I feel like pile number 2 is your guides are just acknowledging that. They're just acknowledging the level of the changes that you've been going through recently. But I also feel like they're saying, be open and curious, okay? With the Lovers representing Gemini, like, be open and curious about the next steps, and be open to meeting people that you can get along with and bond with intellectually and see what goes from there, okay? I also feel like you guys putting yourselves out there as far as writing or creative projects, or, you know, putting yourself out there on social media, or putting yourself out there to people, and letting yourself shine, and taking just the first steps to do that, and opening up new forms of communication and new lines of communication is going to be important. Like, social relationships are important with the Lovers. It represents air sign energy, and air needs to relate and communicate, and Leo needs to be out there promoting themselves. So you guys may need to be out there socializing, promoting yourself, doing more in that regard. And some of you may have like writing projects or creative projects or things that are going to demand your attention that you're going to need to command and take control of and follow through on. And I just feel like, you know, a major chapter when it comes to the Empress, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to the way that you see yourself acting in relationships, is like closing or ending. And I get that it's like scary, and it's like, where do we go from here? But I think you're gonna be fine here, pile number 2, okay? I get it. It's hard. It's real hard to put yourself back out there again after all that. But let's go ahead and see. I can't believe they made me say that to you. But anyway, pile number 2, I hope you forgive me. It's fun to laugh at ourselves, isn't it? Once in a while. For your letters, let's see. We have P, C, PC. All right. Politically correct. Yeah, perhaps you guys were around somebody that wasn't, I mean, the Empress is very gracious and very like good at relating to people. And perhaps you guys were around people that were like a blunt hammer, or were not very, you know, together. Okay. We have Q here. We could have LGBTQ showing up in the reading today. We have an N. Okay. We have an H. Okay, we have an N and an H. Also, I feel like you guys relating to men as friends, or relating to the opposite sex or the same sex, whoever it is that you like, but relating to someone as friends and relating to someone on an intellectual level, and I'm not trying to like romanticize it and not trying to like put labels on it or things like that, but just kind of like getting out there and talking to people. I feel like that's very possible for you guys. And, you know, yeah, so let's see what else here. I also feel like you guys need to kind of be leading conversations, okay? And you may need to be more of the dominant one or leading conversations I love the Empress, but the Empress can also be kind of passive and like waiting to receive something, you know? So a lot of times people don't really go after certain people. They just will see who comes after them, you know? And what ends up happening is you don't really get an opportunity to kind of control the narrative or pick what it is that you like, okay? And we have here, we have a Y. We have an I, yin. Yeah, passive, a little too passive, waiting, perplexed, paralyzed. It's a very yin place to be. Maybe some of you here like Kuan Yin. Maybe you guys like her as a goddess, or maybe because I see the Q here, Q Yin. But I also just feel like you guys are being rather passive about something, and I feel like you're gonna have to get more like communicative, ask the questions that matter, don't sit back and wait for things, okay? And we have a J here, Jill, okay, Jilly. Let's see, Hill or Hillary could be here too. Okay, and I feel like Cindy is here as well. Cindy or Cynthia. Okay, I also feel like the word pill is here. It's a hard pill to swallow sometimes. I know, pile number 2, but you guys are doing great, all right? You're doing fantastic. And let's go ahead and get a few more here for pile number 2, okay? Okay, this is gonna be it then. We have a T, tint, tin, okay? We have an O, two something, too hot. Pile number, woo, Leo, coming in hot, the Empress. Are you just too hot? Pile number 2, is that your problem? Is that your fault or what? We have toy here. So toying around or toying with people's feelings or this kind of thing. Maybe people have done that to you, but it's a lot, I know. And we have not hot. So maybe you guys are like, yeah, what this person did was not hot. We have veto here, interesting. We also have Pinot, as in the wine. Maybe some of we here went to an Italian restaurant recently. Vito and Pinot is sounding very Italian to me. We also have Tino here, and okay. Hi something, okay? I'm just seeing some stuff, but anyway, let's see what else we have here. We have G, all right? I'm getting yo-yo and jig, like the jig is up, okay? I'm also seeing yogi. Yogi is here too. Perhaps you guys are yogis. Perhaps you're into different yogis, or you're trying to, you know, getting the mind right, and all of that is something we work through in the Lovers, and we reconcile our views with other people's views. And we have pig here. Maybe somebody likes pig or whatever, but pig is here. And I also feel like coyote is here. I feel like somebody could have had a dream about a coyote or posted a picture of a coyote on their Instagram account. I'm seeing that too. I'm getting a male that was a smoker here as well. I'm seeing Pinot Noir or Nouveau, or however. I don't drink wine, so I don't know. I'm probably saying things completely wrong. Call me uncultured, pile number 2. But anyway, let's see what else we have here. Toll, like paying the toll, okay, on a toll road. Let's get the last letter. We have a W, okay. I feel like the name Roger could be here. Maybe that's somebody's dad's name or uncle or parent or something, okay. And yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there, all right? Pile number 2. Thank you so much, my lovelies. I hope that reading resonated for you. And do let me know in the comments if you found that reading to be good for you. Okay, so thank you so much, pile number 2, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. Let's move on to pile number 3. Okay, pile number 3. All right. Pile number 3, welcome to your reading. You chose the black tea light, and today's reading is called Shadow Healing, what your spirit guides want you to know. We're going to take a look at what aspects of your shadow are coming through and what your guides have to say about it. All right, pile number 3, and we're going to start off with the oracle cards, and then we'll go ahead and get into the tarot. I'm just kind of warming it up. Oh, we have Judgment and the 9 of Wands. So pile number 3 is a fighter and has been through the shit and is sick of it. 8 of Cups on the bottom of the deck. Let's go ahead and see for my pile number 3s. We have Mirage. Okay, being distracted and tired only makes the way ahead seem insurmountable. Yeah, it's like, I can't do it anymore. I give up. I'm done with this shit, okay? Being distracted and tired only makes the way ahead seem insurmountable and miserable. Give time to rest and assess, and the direction you need to take will become clearer. So sometimes when we're overly tired and we've just had it with life, we start seeing things, you know? We start feeling things, we start seeing things. Sometimes we just plain exhausted, you know? And the 9 of Wands is definitely at that threshold of, you know, being simply sick of it and tired of it. And sometimes when we get that way, it's hard to know the way ahead. And, you know, with Judgment, I feel there could be some major decisions coming up for you, pile number 3. So it's important to kind of be fresh and maintain your thinking capabilities, okay? We have here unhappiness. Searching for contentment is a well-traveled path that can be elusive. The hunt for happiness might not conclude at the destination, but joy can be found during the journey itself. And, you know, the earth plane is a harsh, you know, it's a harsh realm. I will definitely say that. There's a song called Harsh Realm, and I forget who sings it, but the singer's like, I knew you in the harsh realm, okay? But I just think pile number 3, you've had a lot of intensity, you've had a lot forced on you, you're probably spiritually and mentally exhausted at this point, and I'm guessing some of you just want freedom from that, and you just want escape and liberation from the excessive, you know, heat and pressure that's been on you, okay? And it's like looking for happiness and not finding it here with Mirage and unhappiness, and also not particularly enjoying the journey, you know? And people always say it's not the destination, it's the journey. And it's like, yeah, well, the journey is full of potholes and there's no restrooms, and I have to go pee and there's no rest stops, and I don't have any food to eat, and I broke down on the side of the road, and, you know, there's 100 cars passing me, and they're all pissing me off because they're driving too close to me, and no one will stop and help me. You know, like, there can be a lot of things, right? And this life, if you let yourself get too entrenched in it, it will definitely make the journey miserable. You know what I mean? And truth be told, like, some days are miserable, and you're not gonna get some fruity response from me, pile number 3, that, you know, love and light 100 times, because I haven't had a life like that. I doubt you have either, if you're watching this video or pick this pile. So I get it, you know? And sometimes, like, you know, when we're really tired and we're thinking about all the things we have to do tomorrow and everything that has to get done, it just seems so, like, too much. And then we worry and obsess, and then we are not even enjoying the journey whatsoever. We're just tolerating the journey, barely. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of poets and a lot of, you know, philosophers have written about, you know, the chasing happiness or looking for happiness, or, You know, I always say life isn't a happiness factory. That's a quote by yours truly, Natalie, and Natalie H. Truly, you know, love forever, Natalie H. Life isn't a happiness factory. And I get it. And sometimes life needs to be made fun of, and sometimes life needs to be, you know, poked. You got to poke the bear sometimes, you know, you got to poke at the universe a little bit and say, what's going on, you know? But, but I also think too, if you're trying to search for happiness on days when you're very tired and you feel like, oh, I should be happier than I am. I should be enjoying my life more than I am. I should be this. I should be that, right? I should be happier. I should be more grateful. I should be more this, right? And, you know, I actually think happiness and gratitude, like if you have a strong spiritual practice and with judgment, you know, there's going to be a strong encouragement for you in pile number 3 to have a strong spiritual practice because of the intensity, okay? And because of the sheer epicness of some of the things that you guys have had to pull yourself through. And I get that you're a survivor, pile number 3, and I get that sometimes, you know, it's a razor's edge or tooth in whatever, or hand to mouth, or, you know, cutting it on the razor's edge. I was just going to say something about like razor teeth or something about, you know, cutting it with the teeth. I don't know, pile number 3. I'm just getting something about that. But I just think that, you know, sometimes getting so boiled up in that can make us really unapproachable. And it can give off like a really harsh vibe. And maybe kind of with this 9 of Wands, she's built a fence here, like keeping people away from us or kind of deflecting people with our anger or pain or frustration, you know. And yeah, so I know how it goes, pile number 3. I get it. And maybe sometimes you just feel like, you know what, it's not worth it to go looking for happiness. I know life isn't a happiness factory. I get it, Natalie H, you know. But yeah, and sometimes all the great philosophers, you know, wrote about happiness and blah, blah, blah and everything. I think Nietzsche had some interesting things to say about happiness, or Nietzsche was not a fan of hope. I'll tell you that much. Not at all. Just basically like embrace your destiny and live it to the fullest that you can. Now, that doesn't mean that we need to ride our own asses to the point where we can't enjoy anything, you know? So pile number 3, let's see what we have going on here. We have protection, and yep, your guy's just really wanting to come through. And I feel like the 9 of Wands is a very protective energy anyway. I feel like with judgment, your spirit guides are saying they're protecting you and throwing a force field around you as well. And you're also doing a very good job these days of protecting yourself as well too. But I almost wonder if you've protected yourself a little bit too much, maybe pile number 3. But let's see what else we have here. We have totem animals, okay? It's interesting because I was talking about a coyote in pile number 2, and now it looks like we see the wolves, okay? So, you know, and talking about the wolf pack and the protection of the mama wolf, and your totem animal is protecting you big time, okay? And some of you may have a totem animal that is very close to you, such as the wolf, or, you know, even big cat energy. Some of you may have a like dog that is very protective of you. I was telling my boyfriend the other day about a dream that I had about a Doberman one night, and he was sitting outside my room guarding my bedroom while I slept at night. And I wasn't afraid of him or anything. I saw him in my dreams, and I knew that he was there. And he was like really big, scary looking Doberman, but you know, he was basically guarding me at night while I was sleeping, and it was being shown to me in a dream, which I thought was really interesting. And I've never even owned a Doberman, but, you know, just telling you guys that you know, basically here that Spirit's saying, you can see the half of the full moon in the background there too. Like when feelings are running high and emotions are running high and tensions are running high, Spirit's just wanting you to know that they got your back, okay? And that you're okay and nobody's gonna fuck with you, all right? Pile number 3, I think that's important. Like, you're safe, all right? And maybe there was times in your life when you didn't feel safe, or you didn't feel that sense of protection, or you felt like your caregivers really didn't protect you at all, and you had to do a lot of work to basically find a sense of stability and protection for yourself, okay? So I know, and I feel like some of you could have grown up in extreme hardship, poverty, you know, like having to do things yourself, not being able to rely on anyone, possibly parents that were not around, this type of thing, like having to grow up very fast. I feel like pile number 3, okay? And sometimes when we start our lives that way on such a serious note, it can be hard to kind of loosen up and have fun. It really can. We have Libra here in balance. So talking about, you know, like, it's the way we look at life too, right? And with Mirage, sometimes we need to admit to ourselves, am I really looking at this situation right? Am I really seeing it for what it is? Am I really interpreting this correctly? Or am I just dead ass tired? Do I just need do I need a good night of sleep? You know, and have I just been really distracted? Have I just been super tired? And I think with Libra here, it's basically saying you guys needing to maybe balance out some of your energy, okay? Because what I'm getting a sense of is a big sense of protection around you and a reason for it and why you've needed it there, okay? Pile number 3, and I think it's very serious, and I think you've needed to have that at various points in your life. But I also think Spirit just coming in to talk about the necessity of balance. Also, Libra is an air sign. So we're talking about lighter, making things lighter. We're also talking about the mind and balancing the mind and saying, okay, life isn't just totally horrible and awful, and it also isn't, you know, some cakewalk either. And it may also be talking about needing to have more fun, or needing to balance out your need for protection with your need for connection, because Libra is a very social sign. And so sometimes we can build kind of high walls around ourselves, or we can be very serious about, you know, protecting ourselves. I just feel like your guides are saying they want you to work on balancing your energy while they work on protecting you and watching over you, okay? And they want you to, wherever your life is leaning too far in one direction, they want you to kind of bring it back to center, okay? And that may happen when you're exhausted, distracted, tired. You know, a lot of people get depressed when they're tired too. And it says, given time to rest and reassess, the direction you need to take will become clearer. You'll be able to weigh your decisions a lot more clearly. And searching for contentment is a well-traveled path. Yeah, it is. It is. It's a path of thorns sometimes, isn't it? And yeah, so we got to somehow balance the energy, don't we? Pile number 3, okay? So I want to go ahead and see for my pile number 3, what do pile number 3's guides have to tell them about their shadow healing energy? I'm getting some of you here could also be shamanistic, or you could also be healers, or you could also help others in liberating their shadow and recognizing their shadow and helping them release like old shadow material. And some of you here may work with animals heavily, or have a special bond with animals, or totem animals in particular. Okay, but let's go ahead and see for my pile number 3s. What do pile number 3's spirit? Okay, some of you may come from a very spiritual lineage as well, is what I'm getting here. We have the Hangman on the bottom of the deck. So the Hangman talks about samadhi, which is a concept in Hinduism that has to do with basically like completely surrendering to bliss. And there's also, I think this concept is in Buddhism as well too, but basically it's in a lot of the religions, but world religions. And it's, the hangman is about an experience of oneness. It's where we completely release and we relax and we go with the waves and the motions, and we let ourselves like finally rest, and we let ourselves kind of dissolve back into the water. And it's kind of where we don't feel the need to sort of harshly differentiate ourselves from other people. We can just kind of be, you know, and that may be a little bit scary because, especially for people that have gone through traumatic experiences with Judgment and the Nine of Wands, okay, and there's always that fear with the hangman representing Neptune, like, am I seeing things for what it is? Am I lying to myself? Am I, you know, being honest and truthful with myself? And so I think you guys have made it a point to be extremely straight up and truthful with yourself. But I also think you need to balance that energy with like some spiritual practice or some releasing into the boundless void where you can really rest and you can really let go. And for some of you, it may have to do with, you know, flexibility. It may have to do with neutrality, flexibility, a willingness to submerge yourself into like the moment and let go, and feel like a sense of belonging is also what I'm feeling. I'm also getting like some of you may practice yoga, or you may do some type of spiritual practice. I always think that the Hebrew letter for the hangman, mem, looks like mem. The Hebrew letter looks like somebody doing the camel pose in yoga. And I just think it's so interesting, like that thing where you're shining your heart forward and you're bending your back and, you know, you're kind of like upside down and you stay there for a while. And it's just interesting. I feel like you guys can have like really interesting dreams with the hangman as well. Pile number 3, like very interesting, spiritually deep dreams where certain messages are also given to you. And I feel like your spiritual team is using your dream time to help heal you, heal your mind, and to help show you the light of the way. Okay, pile number 3. So you're getting that. You have 5 of Swords here. We have Queen of Swords. Oh me, oh my. Okay, pile number 3. We have Page of Wands, and yeah, and we have the King of Wands. Wow. I just feel like that's a lot of court cards. So, you know, but I also feel this is kind of different phases of you, you know, and I kind of feel like the 5 of Swords is the headache that life gives us when we're just caught up in the dramas of the mind, you know? And I love the Queen of Swords. She's also in the tarot related to the sign of Libra. So we have 2 mentions of Libra here. But to me, this talks about no more pollution of the mind, you know? No more overthinking, no more headaches, no more like, you know, wondering, did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? Is this person, you know, like, I just feel like you guys are like down with, you know, you're like, no more headaches, no more like ruminating. I just really want to come from a clear headspace, okay? And I also feel like the Queen of Swords is lightweight too. Like, she's not really, the Queen of Swords represents the watery part of air. So there is water in the Queen of Swords too. There is emotion there. It's just very well expressed, you know, and it may come down to you guys like writing something, journaling. It may come down to finding ways to clear your head. She's sitting by the water here, and she just looks like her mind is very much at peace and very clear. And, you know, some of those days, we just have those razor sharp days where we just feel like our mind is clear. you know, and it may not be like we're jumping up and down with happiness, like, oh my God, I won the lottery. But it might just be a moment of clarity and mental peace, you know, and I think that has a lot to do with, you know, with happiness, in fact, like having a moment of clarity and mental peace where our mind is not all over the place and we're just like open and clear. Like, to me, that is happiness. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I know when I have those moments, I'm like, wow, I feel good. You know, like I'm not having any headaches. I know I get headaches a lot, and this Five of Swords looks like a lot of headaches. Okay, I mean, I actually get physical headaches. I don't know if you guys get them too. I just felt compelled to mention that. But, you know, like the headache of overthinking of the dramas and the blah, blah, blahs and the worrying. Should I have said this? Should I not have said that? You know, like the continuing of replaying old situations over and over and over, fighting with people in our heads that are no longer there. You know, this is all very Five of Swords type of territory. And I feel like with the Queen of Swords is just mentally clear. And she, you know, she's processed her emotions, her head is clear, and she's reflective and she's serious, but she's not mentally in pain, okay? And that may be a place of happiness for you guys, okay? Like quiet contemplation, a clear mind, not continually revisiting the shittiness of the past, you know? Like, I think that is something there. And then also with this Page of Wands, okay? And I actually think a lot of times when we're unhappy, what we're searching for is creative spark. What we're searching for is creative energy. What we're searching for is inspiration. And a lot of times that has to do with getting up and doing something. The Page of Wands is a very active card. And it's like, okay, I am going to make a plan to go do something. And I'm just gonna go have fun, or I'm gonna go paint, or I'm gonna go take a dance class, or I'm gonna go to this funky retreat, or I'm gonna go, you know, watch a silly movie, or I'm gonna go watch a cartoon. Like the other day, I was like, I'm just gonna watch, you know, a Shark Tale, like that cartoon movie, The Shark's Tale or whatever. And I'm just gonna chill for a while, watch this cartoon. And the Page of Wands can have us like doing stuff that we like to do when we were kids, or just doing things that are just for the fun of it. Like there's no real goal, or there's no real like, you know, I mean, maybe, because the Page of Wands is the earthy part of fire. So when we think of earth, we think, okay, fun with a purpose. But I also think just kind of being light and happy and free and kind of acting like a kid again. I think a lot of times we look at kids, and especially for those of you that had to grow up really fast and had a very serious childhood and didn't get to experience a lightness of being, I feel like, you know, kind of having fun and being a kid or being a goofball is also something that can be done, okay? And I feel like with the King of Wands, you guys may have somebody that is interested and possibly, you know, doing some fun stuff, or wants to go out and party, or wants to show you a good time, okay? Or is interested in, you know, interested in enjoying some time with you. Now, whether this person is available or not, I feel pile number 3. I also just feel like you going and having fun and doing your thing is going to attract people that are like-minded, that are kind of like wanting to enjoy things too, okay? And I also think if you guys have been around people, like as soon as you try to show some joy, or you try to do something that makes you happy, but you have somebody around you who's just a major buzzkill and just looks at you like you're being immature or you're being dumb or whatever, I feel like this is also not great as far as creating a sense of spontaneity and happiness within. And, you know, if we go searching for our happiness in other people, a lot of times what we find is a big fat wah wah, you know. But I feel like you guys, some of you guys could be meeting somebody cool to collaborate with on a project. I mean, certainly with so much Libra energy, partnership is important, passion is important, clear-headedness is important, the ability to laugh and have fun and joke around, like, you know, do things just for the hell of it with no, you know, pure intention in mind. And if there are people around you that are like, no, everything you do has a purpose and an intention and whatever, and they're just like, you know, ruining your fun, then I feel like whatever, like they can go somewhere else, okay? But I feel like Spirit is just saying, I also feel like you guys have a guide here, like a masculine guide who is protecting you as well, okay? And who is watching out for you. Some of you may have a father or a grandfather that's in spirit. I feel like there's somebody showing up here who is wanting to protect you and wanting to be there for you, okay? And just knowing that you know that there are people in this world that have your back and are willing to stand up for you, like, can help you feel lighter, can help you feel like you can let go and have more fun, okay? Especially if you're used to having all the responsibility. So let's get some letters for pile number 3, okay? We have E here. We have B, B, B-Y, be happy. All right, Abby. We have an X. Oh my God. Oh yeah. There's an X. Like, as soon as you guys start feeling good, start feeling happy, start enjoying yourself, I feel like you guys maybe could have tried to, when you were younger, be happy and have fun. Some of you could have dated someone that was older than you or more serious, or, you know, just thought maybe what you were doing was annoying or you were acting annoying. Bye-bye, you know, B-Y-E, bye. Like, who needs that, okay? Who needs that headache? Bye. X bye, okay? Just bye-bye. All right, we have an A here. A, all right. Yeah. And we have a P, okay? And we have a D, D-A-D-D-Y. Okay, bad daddy or baby's daddy or bye daddy or something like that, okay, is also what I'm seeing here too. So maybe some of you have some, you know, shadow material you're working out with the masculine or with the father, but it's like bye, you know, bye-bye. And we have a C here, a C, okay, C, A, B, C, D, E. Wow, that's interesting. There's the F. There is the F, okay? I'm seeing the word peach or preach, okay? And perhaps some of you grew up with a father who was a preacher or religious or something like that, okay? I'm also seeing peach or peachy. Okay, let's see what else we have here. See what else we have here. We have an I. Okay, I feel like fairies are here. Maybe you guys are into those. Or maybe you were when you were younger. We have Pam and Mia. We have M or Emily here, I feel too. F-A-Y-E, like the name Faye. Somebody here could have a parent with that name or grandparent. Idea is coming up here too. Pimp, P-I-M-P. Pimp and a player, pile number 3 anyway. But an idea that you guys would like to put out there in the world. And we have a J here. We have Japanese. Somebody here could be Asian or Japanese. We have, I feel like we have carpe diem here. Carpe diem, which is like seize the day, right? And then we have, that's very Page of Wands, carpe diem. And we have an L here, leap, leap. Wow. Leaf and leafy is also here as well. The word leap. Okay. And I am leaping, right? I am leaping. Wow. Pile number 3. You're leaping towards your happiness. I can see it. We have foe here, foe. Okay, so somebody who really was causing you a lot of mental anguish, perhaps when you were younger as well. I feel some of you could have had an ex that when you were younger that caused you a lot of mental anguish and was really upsetting. I feel like your guides are saying you don't have to worry about that anymore. Okay, we've got you. And yeah, lamb, Lam, Lambo, like a Lamborghini, lamb, okay? And I'm also seeing leap year here, so perhaps someone was born in a leap year or close to a leap year. I'm also seeing Cleo here, Cleo. I'm also seeing Flo, like Aunt Flo. Maybe some of you are experiencing Aunt Flo right now, but Flojo is here. That's so funny, Flojo. Coffee, C-O-F-F-E, coffee. And yeah, I love that. Maybe some of you are really into coffee, or we also have dope, like something's dope. I am dope. Yes, you are. Pile number 3. We have code here, or Cody, or code. Okay, and yeah, pile number 3. I think I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. All right, my dears. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope this reading resonated for you. Let me know in the comments if you felt that it did, and everyone take care.